The official presentation for y'all today, so make sure you come in. We got a lot to talk about. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm sick of it. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of, all of the controversy that's going on right now. A lot of individuals, they are following behind something that they honestly have no knowledge whatsoever of. You know, people just want to be a part of a cause, but there's no solution. A bunch of people who want to jump on the bandwagon. So I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down straight up. I'm just like, I'm not the one for the games and the hypocrisy. I'm not going to sit back and let my people be tarnished and, just straight up trampled. And, we out here, we're not using our brain. It's not right. Because we have the power, ultimately, to manifest our own destiny. But we would rather wait for somebody who completely does not give two shits about us to sit up here after all of these years, all of this time, all of this pain and trauma that we've been through, to act like they trying to help us. So you mean to tell me this movement that started in 2014, approximately 6, is supposed to fight for us? People who've been getting stepped on and shitted on for thousands of years, now we supposed to just submit and sit here and say we're gonna follow you into the burning building, into the fire. Just go along with this whole Masonic to keep us stagnant and down from gaining our success in, our land, our resources that you decimated. And you told us that we weren't people, and you colonized us. But why did you do this? Black Lives Matter equals dark matter. And people might say, hey, what are you talking about? Why would you say that, man? We out here fighting, we marching. Number one, black is not even a race. Black is nothing. According to definition, black represents darkness. The Moors have already brought out a lot of this information. So it's pertinent. Universe, right? It's unexplainable. It's invisible. We can't see it. So many things that we are seeing are only a fraction or decimal compared to the whole real world and scope of what we are really made up of and what we're really looking at. So when it comes to the spectrum, we're really lacking on the objects and what we know as, life, molecules, atoms, because we can't really define these things. And this is a part of the whole dark matter. Because when it comes to Black Lives Matter, it cannot be defined. When you ask who is the leader of this, some people may say George Soros, others may say, some lesbian couple, interracial couple that started this around of, when Trayvon Martin passed away. So there's no real explanation for who's the leader of this organization. We're just, running with a narrative of what we see in the news, because George Soros is a billionaire who has created, this kind of international, he's interrupting in international affairs and has started, this sort of pretty much division. He was a Jewish survivor of the Holocaust in Europe and Hungary. And he survived by impersonating and trying to be something that he's not. And I'm not trying to take away from that, but this is the whole etymology of where he comes from, because he is not pure and right and exact. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really is, but his intentions on what he, tries to allocate and become allies with is a false narrative. He doesn't want to help us. He doesn't want to help the people who, he was funding for the immigration, and this is why they want to stop him in Europe. And they banned him, straight up. They're like, anybody that has anything to do with this guy, it's illegal. We're locking them up. There's laws against him in other countries. So why would we now follow this guy or make him, the head of who we are and what we represent? It just makes no sense. You see, and when you think about wormholes, right? They're portals. They're one way. They're one-way barriers, you know what I mean? Anything could come in, anything can enter it, but nothing can come out. Nothing can escape. It gets trapped forever at the singularities and of the core. It gets trapped forever at the singularities at its core. So that's what Black Lives Matter movement is. You could get in, anybody can get in, but it's hard to get out. Pretty much there's no escape, you're trapped. Now you're marked forever. Now when you think of these people who come and protest in these neighborhoods in the hood, and they start rioting, they loot, they agitate the police, they say fuck the police, and they play these songs, right? On one hand. But then on the other hand, at night, they disappear. And they go back to their suburban homes and, in their peaceful neighborhoods, while we're stuck in the trap fighting against this power structure and, these racial inequalities. They at home sleeping. So why the fuck is you coming in my neighborhood stirring up trouble, man? Because y'all not here when the shit pops off. We are. When those babies got killed in Brooklyn, a 1-year-old baby, he is, one of the people or the head people for Black Lives Matter now. So now 2 sheriffs have gotten popped in LA. And LeBron puts a bounty out on the people in Compton who, they already tried to frame a black brother who, is a coach and trying to do good things for the hood and start businesses. They framing him, put out his license plate and his information saying he was the one that did it, and he didn't even have nothing to do with it. So now LeBron jumps into the picture and he's putting a bounty out, this cash reward or whatever for whoever shot these sheriffs. LeBron, where the fuck was you at when this 1-year-old baby got shot in Brooklyn? Where was you at? Because they still don't got nobody. So I'm just baffled behind it, because it's like they step up and fight for certain causes and individuals when it's relevant or when it's hot to them, when they can, make a headliner, you know what I'm saying? But when we out here getting our ass whooped every day, they not shooting with us in the gym. So why is we sitting here being led into the flames and the fire, acting like, yo, this is the new movement, this is the cause, this is the new Black Panther Party, when you know what happened to the Black Panthers and Fred Hampton and all of them? Gay Edgar Hoover, everybody is just lost at this point because we so focused on religions, We're not paying attention to the life forms that they're finding out there in the universe that we've been knew about. And, only certain individuals have contact with them because we loopy like that. You know what I'm saying? So when we get the truth, it just becomes, incredulous that, we have to come out here and put ourselves on the front line on the map, because that whole marching and, that whole integrating with people who we don't know, there's no background checks for this shit. So you could very well be accustomed to, making agents your allies and letting them in on your every step, your every move. See, the revolution has to be private. This is not something that we will never get the upper hand. The enemy is always able to, overstand what our next move is going to be. He can predict and pinpoint what is going to, be asserted from these different congregations. So we have to take that into account. Keep stopping the stream, man. Keep fucking stopping the stream. What the hell is going on? Trying to get the information to the people, man. See what they do, y'all? Fuck it. I'm ready to blackball, you know what I'm saying? Been the black sheep. Shit ain't about nothing. Alright, family, look, this thing is all out of whack right now, all of a sudden. But you see what I gotta go through. When you come in with the truth, there's always gonna be, different variations trying to block that. But fuck it, we going full throttle with it. So back to where I was at, pretty much like you got dudes like LeBron who is ass backwards. 1 minute, they want to stand for justice and they saying, yo, fuck this is wrong. But then when you got people retaliating off what he's saying, now it's, we putting bounties out for them. But when people was killing 1-year-old babies, where you was at? You see, black is not even a race. It means nothing in this political science that we're dealing with, and the Moors already brought that to our attention. And we fail to realize that this is why it's all boiling down now to what religion and nationalities and cultures are you representing, because they cracking down, man. And it's sad to say, but according to black, according to the definition of black and what they created in, the Ottoman Roman Empire, that's not us. That is just a label. Just like when they came here and the indigenous and the early, Indians were really black, but we're going to call them Native Americans for a term that is a better understanding. You're black, which really means nothing. This is why Black Lives Matter has to be stopped and George Soros has to be stopped, because he already has claimed that he's a part of the Masonic demons and, he follows those rituals. So why would we sit here and, adhere to that when we are not that? We are not a part of these secret societies. We don't want nothing to do with these things. They want us because they want to use us for revenue. They still don't want to give us our reparations. Why? Because they don't look at us as a people. So this is why we got to stop saying Black Lives Matter. If we say, okay, African Lives Matter or something different, maybe it'll have a different effect. But you just saying Black Lives Matter is not making anybody recognize it, because it's irrefutable. It's an unknown source. If you look at George Soros, he funded, Hillary Clinton, Obama, all of these people who are known, to be in pedophilic rings and, They was involved with Jeffrey Epstein and on his call list, and they went to the island. What are you doing over there? Will Smith, but everybody's on that entanglement and August Alsina and Jada and things of that. But you're not like, yo, why is this dude Will over here in a pedophilic aisle? You know what I'm saying? Nobody brought that to your attention. Come on now. The universe is steady growing. You know what I'm saying? It's a cosmological constant counter. It's a cosmological constant, and it counteracts gravity. You know what I'm saying? This was Einstein's theory. Because you gotta understand, if it's things pulling things down, then what makes things go up? How is things able to do that? So we still don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But George Soros, this public enemy number one, who wants to come and back black people all of a sudden, and it's making us go backwards. It's like we're not achieving our goals and we're not striving for anything. There's no real how can I say, there's no like real bullet points on what they're fighting for. They just saying Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. They're barricading traffic. They're leading people into death. People are dying by trying to defend themselves against these white supremacist groups or these power structures. But it's like, this is the time when we're supposed to be falling back and being solid, coming together in solidarity, but not in public. We should be forming, coalitions and unions to break these barriers. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at people like Martin Luther King, I say he is a racist because he was for his race. He was for bettering his race. See, the term that y'all got of racism is not what it is. That's just what they gave y'all. It's about bettering your people and having the power to actually control the structures. You see what he did with the bus boycott? That could never be done again because they made sure after they killed him off, nobody would ever be able to, make those type of congregations. And if you look at people like Farrakhan, he'll tell you straight out of his mouth he's a racist. Because why? He's bettering, his people, which are Muslims, the Nation of Islam. He don't care about, black people out here every day in the struggle that's not Muslim. Why you think now, they don't go with the original teachings of the Prophet? You know what I'm saying? Who taught like, yo, white people is not allowed in our, in our nation. Now they are, because he has teamed up with Ron Al Hubbard, who is, the leader of the Church of Scientology. So we already know what all of these things are about. This is why I say Black Lives Matter is dark matter, because it's really unknown. We don't really know too much about this movement. It just started 6 years ago. And now people like Joe Biden who come out and say things like, oh, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not black. Who the hell are you to tell me what I am and what I can do and who I can vote for in my, right and my citizenship? So now I'm supposed to just vote for you who just said something that was, offensive. But nobody really took up. People took it as a joke, but that ain't nothing to joke with. You don't tell people, oh, you're not a Jew if you don't say, Hitler is this evil force or things of that nature, But why would you bring something like that into play when it comes to black people? Because they don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? They're desensitized, it's insensitive, and it's just like they're gonna continue to push and bulge us into the direction that they feel is appropriate or, the best for us. How the hell can the next person tell you what's the best for you when they don't even know the half of who you are and what you've been through and where you come from? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Roseanne Barr, right? She was somebody who said George Soros, he was a Nazi who turned in his fellow Jews to be murdered in German concentration camps and stole their wealth. You know what I'm saying? So if he'll do that to his own people, what the hell is he gonna do to us? Of people that he don't give a damn about, that he's just using to make more capital. I mean, what has Black Lives Matter done for us? That they have been getting these millions and billions of dollars. What have y'all done for us? What have they done for black people? Like, nothing. But, you know, this guy, George Soros, who was a part of the March for Our Lives, you know, the kids in Florida with the whole school shootings narrative, and, you know, what happened to the school shooters? Now, all of a sudden, because there was a pandemic, there's no more school shooters. There's no more of these people who just want to kill up everybody. So that goes to show you that this thing was really some stage shit, or like, you know, something that people produced and was just letting, you know, mentally ill people just let off and probably getting paid off, or whatever the case may be. Like, you see, they just arrested one of the cops that killed one of the black people, I think in California, and now he's already out on bail. Like, how can you murder someone and be afforded that option, but when we murder each other, they don't give us a bail, or they set it so high they know we can't afford it? So how the hell can these cops just be able to do it and they don't face no repercussions? We know they're not going to get convicted, just like with the George Floyd situation, when they said, oh, we found, you know, crack and meth in his system, you know, he was a part of the Masonic demon order, so, you know, everything is justified when it comes down to us. But when one of theirs get popped, now they get LeBron to be switching sides and back and forth. I'm not saying it's right, but why aren't you worried about Breonna Taylor? Wasn't you just worried about saying, oh, the cops got to get arrested for murdering her? But now you defending the cops who didn't die, but they got hit up, and now you defending them. So what side, who are you playing for, man? It's just like with J.R. Smith when they was in the finals and J.R., you know, he fucked up the game or whatever. He didn't pass the ball to LeBron and he wasted the clock. He didn't know what's going on. That's the same thing with these fucking celebrities, man. They don't know what's going on, but everybody's just following them because it looks cool, it looks good, you know. They could probably get next to them in these protests and, you know, take some photo ops and, yeah, we getting arrested, and, you know, it looks good for the camera, but none of this shit is changing nothing. So you got these stupid, dumb niggas who want to keep saying Black Lives Matter when black is not even a race. It's just, you know, a racial, you know, classification or a political marker, which means that it equals out to being deaf in all reality, to political science, to more science. So when we understand that 25% of the world is dark matter, 70% is dark energy, and only 5% represents us and trees and plants and rocks and things of that nature. This is what we mean when we say Black Lives Matter equals dark matter, because majority of this whole, you know, organization, nobody knows who's the sole leader. What is the sole purpose? You just getting up there marching and, yeah, buy the t-shirts and the masks and, you know, you got all of the merch. But what are you generally doing for our people? You know, we just stuck in this trap, in this wormhole. You know, time is warping on us. While we're sitting here trying to say, you know, this one and that one is the enemy and point the finger, the enemy is really the one who's right there sleeping next to you in your goddamn house. Because they uneducated, you know, they're gonna sit here and keep feeding you the bottom feeding, you know, resources and things that's gonna going to be detrimental to your health and your ongoing strive for success and for a better life and for a better world. You know what I'm saying? None of these people have no options. They are not the creator. They are just, people who are part of this dark, realm. And when I say dark, it's not to be in a negative thing, but it is negative because it's just unknown. We don't know in Black Lives Matter, but you can very well be someone who can be a part of a power structure that was decimating our people. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you see a Justin Bieber, right? Now he wants to be saying, oh, I want to use my platform to help black people and Black Lives Matter. But when Usher first put you on, you slapped him in the face by saying, yo, nigga, this, nigga, that. How you gonna call the people that put you on a nigga? That goes to show you that these people, they don't have no remorse in what they say or what they do. They just full of, malarkey. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you sit up here and bite the hand that feeds you? And that's what Black Lives Matter is. Because they're stabbing us in the back. You see those 19 families that just created a safe haven in Georgia for black people? Why isn't Black Lives Matter? Where's George Soros? Why is he not funding that so we can have our own communities? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you a part of that? Everybody else got their own community. Jewish people got their own community. Asian people got their own community. Mexican people got their own community. Spanish people. Everybody in America got their own shit, except for black people. They give us the bottom of the barrel and say, yeah, go be in the projects. Go live in wilderness. Where you can't get resources. Look at Flint, Michigan. They still ain't got no goddamn clean water all of this time. So you mean to tell me you fighting for people that's dead and you putting all of these millions and billions to do like some stage shit with these actors and Antifa and all of that, but people who's living right before your very eyes, you won't give them clean water, you won't give them, a place to live, you won't give them resources or, help them create their own business. Because it's literally pissing me off. Represents. It's just like, for me to go out and start advocating for Asian people who are being, being disrespected and disproportionately looked at as the cause for this whole virus. I can't go advocate for them because I don't know what it's like to be them. I could have similar experiences, but I can't really sit here and say, oh, I know what it's like to be these people or to wear that, those characteristics. And no, I don't. So I'm not going to sit up here and put up a front like I care and say, oh yeah, these lives matter, because I don't know nothing about these people. So when I'm looking at others that straight up fronting, talking about Black Lives Matter, where the fuck was you at 5 years ago? Where was you at 10 years ago when I was getting my head beat in? Now all of a sudden, because of the coronavirus and you can't work, you're tired of the government, you're tired of Trump. Now you want to try to come together to break down the system and say you standing for something. But when I was getting my head beat in 5 or 10 years ago, I couldn't find none of these motherfuckers. And it's just like when you look at Chicago, the people who's trying to build a relationship with the authorities and, trying to come to some type of understanding to rid the community of, the over-policing and the trauma and the things that's going on. You got people like these organizations who are coming in fucking it up because they just attacking something that they don't know nothing about of what's going on. I can't go to Chicago and go advocate for the whole drill shit because I don't know nothing about that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here in New York. So I gotta be a part of where I'm at, right where I'm at, and what's going on right here. But these people, they got money. So as soon as something pops off in Chicago, they going right out there to stir up some shit. And it's like they just acting off of emotions. Nothing is really set in stone. There's no plan. There's no, real solution to how to stop the madness. They just adding on. Now they're gonna say, oh, looting is reparation. No, the fuck, that's not my reparations, nigga, because I'm not gonna put myself at a risk because that's what you want to do. I'm not gonna break the law and sit here and risk my freedom because that's what I see others doing. No, I don't operate like that. I create my own destiny, my own path, and I got my own backbone. That's why I don't need no religions to stand behind me. I don't need no groups. I don't need no gang and none of that. But I'm solid with me. I work with what I got, and I'm happy. I don't have to be, this big Hollywood whatever to accomplish what I see and goals that I want to for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm successful in my own eyes. I'm my greatest supporter. I believe in myself. I don't need nobody to sit here and act like they gonna hold me down, and then when it gets real, they know where to be found. You know what I mean? So when I say Black Lives Matter is dark matter, you can't measure dark matter. Just like you cannot measure Black Lives Matter because we don't know who these people are. There's no background checks. Like I said, these people just come from all over, anywhere, and are able to be a part of this. So we cannot measure Black Lives Matter and what they really stand for and what is their purpose. We can't taste, the fruits of the labor of Black Lives Matter because they've done nothing for our people, just like you can't taste dark matter. So we cannot taste the rewards and success of this organization because there is none. They have done nothing for us. You know what I'm saying? We cannot detect dark matter, just like we can't detect Black Lives Matter. We don't know when they're coming, how they're coming, what they're representing. All we know is that George Soros, who is a known Mason and, his father was a grandmaster, is somebody who's standing behind it. And he's somebody who's looked at internationally as, an enemy because he tries to overrule the government because he has the money, he has the power. And this is what these new Republicans and these people who have these statuses are trying to come together to say, hey, we can buy the government, which they've been doing, but now it's becoming more publicly and more of an individualized game that they're trying to play. This thing just keeps growing, and we don't know where it's going. What does justice look like for them? We know what their mission statement says on the website that proves that, they really don't give two damns about me or the next black man. They just care about trying to integrate the community even more than what it really is and trying to gain the trust. It's more of a name than anything that people just ran with. The organization, it really has nothing to do with the people itself because they're isolated. If right now, I wanted to create some type of foundation for the people in the hood that don't got nothing, the people who's trying to fight through this pandemic, they would not fund or support that because they don't care about that. They're gonna go right back to their neighborhoods after they stir up the trouble, which we've seen, on a numerous amount of occasions, and they're gonna disappear. And that's what dark matter does. It comes out of nowhere and then it disappears. Just like how these people are gonna keep on doing and keep trying to dupe the community to thinking that they're gonna change something that is really interchangeable in a sense within this time realm. I mean, there's billions of light years to come, and we know from different calendars, the solar calendars, the lunar calendars, the lunisolar, which have all been created to measure different times and frequencies that we're in. But in all reality, it's infinite. Nobody has the straight up, knowledge or information to really 10 years down the line, this is gonna happen, maybe 100 years. Who knows? Humanity could very well be ending or permeating to be something that is way bigger than any of our minds could have ever imagined. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, it's very important for us to do our research on who are these people, like where did they come from, because there's no real information on how to pinpoint what is the real true and living message. Like when you see the Sean Kings and the people like that who is, trying to portray that, his father was possibly a man of color and things of that nature. But we know that he's white. We know that, he identified as white on his birth certificate. His mother's white. He grew up white. But then when he mixed up things like he was attacked in school and, other whites jumped him for being black when it wasn't true. People are alive today who can recount the story and the time frame to say that he was only in a fight with one other person, which was a white person. And just because he went to an HBCU or because he has black children or a black wife does not necessarily mean that he really care about us. And just like he been trying to push and sell his book, that's all he really been thinking about. Everything is, donate to this person when he thinks about it or when he feels good. But when you got people who's starving out here, who's going through real hunger, through real, homelessness, can't even experience what a meal tastes like or, what it's like to be nurtured or, just have some type of genuality in their life. FEMA camps that are being built, which ultimately, is going to lead up to the demise of a lot of people, because now you're even more of a you were when you were just by yourself. Now you're coming out here and you're saying, you're going against this, you're anti that, but now you just made yourself even more of a target to just be pretty much, destroyed. And, when we looked at things like Black Lives Matter is not just one big, thing. They have different sects of the organization. Like you got the Greater New York, you got different things within this one thing. So it's just like, that makes it so much more harder to pinpoint, like, who are these people? Like, what are their real agendas? You know what I'm saying? Where do they come from? Like, there's nobody who's coming out with that information. They need their numbers, like, who's allied, who's grouped up with them. What are they coming to do? Because nothing has been done yet. And it's just disingenuous. They're not honest with what they really want for the people, and how they're gonna keep us synchronized throughout these tough times, because we see that all they do is pretty much, they chanting this and that. They're sitting here using celebrities to, gain the public's trust and, put them in But it's like they can still very well be a part of the systems that are cracking down on us, because certain statuses that these people may hold and obtain are still holding us back, because they are getting the jobs and the licenses that we can't. And they're moving into the homes and getting the loans that we can't. Right now, who's alive trying to make a better cause? You're fighting for people who are dead. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm saying we should be more focused on the now, and more focused on, stop trying to just jump on, oh, they killed a person in Rochester, let's go out there and organize it. Oh, they killed somebody in California, and let's go. All of the money that they're using for this travel and, to just stand up and take photo ops and videotape and march and, agitate police and disappear. They can be using that money to cure, hunger in the hood. They can be using that money to, educate and, get us more technology and resources throughout this pandemic. But they're not doing that. Like, I understand, okay, the Ahmaud Arbery, the George Floyd, but it's like, it's an ongoing thing. They're just gonna keep going, and by the time you know it, all of these resources have been used on, they got paid actors, and, they staging these protests. And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the masses are being fooled into using their, energy and time into that, when we can be creating something much greater by just saying, you know what, let's put it all in the pot. Let's be real. Let's, really come together in private and not just let anybody join our congregations, because that's not what they're for. If I started and I'm building something with a certain people, nobody should be able to just come into that chain, because now I don't know who you are, I don't know how weak you are, and it's like the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. You can very well be an agent or an enemy, or somebody who can be oppressing me more than what I know, but just because you wear a logo and some merch, now I'm supposed to be your best friend, and it's like, even with this whole coronavirus thing, we not supposed to be really coming together anyway. But we ignoring that, and the second wave is coming, so now this thing been probably mutating, sitting inside of me for all I know, and this thing probably been mutating more and more, and now we protesting together, we hugging, we fighting, we sweating, we holding hands, and you could very well killing me off even faster and more than what we really even know. So now I just sat here and I sacrificed my life, my kids' life, my family life, your life, because I'm not thinking with a clear mind. We supposed to all be social distancing. That's the bottom line. But you got a certain community out here who doesn't care about that, who just wants to sit here and act like love is not gonna do anything for this coronavirus. Love is not gonna stop these people from killing me and my people. Love is not gonna sit here and put me in a better predicament to achieve, and sustain success in life. No, that's not working on me. And I'm not gonna keep sitting here letting these people dupe my people and try to keep tricking them and playing with our dome. Like, you're not gonna play with my mind like that. It's just trying to burn people with. Go program your kids with that shit. If you happy, go be happy. Why the fuck are you trying to make me be happy and I'm good? I don't want nothing to do with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just dark, man. It's dark matter, man. Real talk. It's dark matter and dark energy, man. I mean, when you think about this guy, George Soros, and how he sat there and he broke the Bank of England, and he funded thwart Brexit, the big money campaign to sit here and take control of the government, pretty much. That's what his whole goal is, and he's just using us as minions. And we're just small minions in his big army. We're sacrifices, pretty much. And we're gonna go out first. He give us boots. So it's like, how you want us to fight for this cause and you're not power or will to be able to thrive throughout these occasions? You're not giving us no real knowledge to stay safe, and you're not providing no tools and things of that nature, so we could be booted up. You just sitting here and you suck blood of the people and the masses by getting them to stand on the front lines and pretty much say, yo, we're not gonna abide by the government and what they have put in place because that's your vision. And it's all right, but you're not educating us. You're not giving us the proper, resources. And it's like, it's sad because people would just jump on anything that they see as, it could be relevant, or it could be something that could turn into a meal ticket. But in all reality, it's destructive because two wrongs don't make a right. So even if all of these things are taking place and going on, nobody should be sitting here saying, yo, they killed somebody, so now we're gonna loot, we're gonna riot, and if they know that's what this is gonna lead up to, even if that's not the intentions, they should say, maybe we shouldn't do that, because people have died. You're trying to barricade traffic, thinking Charlottesville somebody got hit, and it's like, nah, you can't operate like that, because now innocent people are being brought into the scope and having the finger pointed at them that they may very well have had nothing to do with. So why do they have to suffer now because of our pain and agony? Now we're trying to make others and be heard and seen, but it's a way to do it other than what we're doing. That's my whole thing. Like, there's no real strategy when it comes down to the real basis of it. We going back in time right now with this whole marching and protesting. That was MLK, Malcolm X era. So you mean for 20 to, for decades, we haven't been taking this approach, but now when the coronavirus comes into effect, everybody wants to just jump on the bandwagon. Or when you look at it, majority of our people thing into question, and you gotta ask questions, man. You can't just sit here and act like it's commonalities or ideologies. I gotta know what is the basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you stand on before I just with you? Because I gotta test your ability to really. I'm gonna let you hold me with you. You could be very well trying to destroy me in the same sense, and I'm not on point because I'm just looking at an image instead of me looking inside and getting to really fill you out and know who you are. I can't pay attention to that because I'm so focused on X, Y, and Z, and it's just too much emotion going on with the whole thing. It's not really no real gratitude or satisfaction being, emitted for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go rock with these people and it's all good and we doing this and that. Nah, this is not the time we live in. Everybody got different agendas and social markers and statuses that they following. And it's no rules, like it's no order with this thing. It's just straight up it's something else. And then they added more. There's no, and I don't involve myself or engage in these different structures because it's just making me more vulnerable. And because when you understand that knowledge itself is the most how create or procreate in this world, then in relation to how I'm going to be able to achieve X, Y, and Z, I'm just always trying to look for the next best thing when the next best thing is me. Universe. I do what the 1% do. You know what I'm saying? What I see everybody else doing, I do the opposite because I know that can't be right. If majority of the world is, riding on one coattail and it's millions and billions of coattails out there, the universe is so large. When I tell you that when I started fasting, I could never go backwards. I could never be unconscious and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just be doing this for the fun and experiencing and trying to maintain a certain cool or longevity. Nah, that shit, nothing is permanent compared to the light years and the billions of years that I'm gonna be in the universe operating on my own frequencies. You know what I'm saying? Because we never die, we just recycle. I'm gonna go into the Milky Way galaxy and I'm gonna be doing my own little ones and twos. I don't need the next person to sit up here and try to big me up or give me the ability to things happen that I already have the power to do for myself. So I did all of the atrocities that's going on before me is going to rule at the end of the day, and they over. So it's like for you to sit here and try to control certain things, it's just like suicide. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been there, done that, but I'm not going back. That's my whole thing. Like, I got too much resources and technology in front of me not to make something work and pop off to where wave. That's my fear. Like, eventually you gonna get 2 and then 4 and then 8. Well, I already figured out, but I gotta make my own where, we got our own network. You know what I'm saying? We not asking nobody for nothing. It's 2020, like. You know what I mean? I had times where it's always gonna be. It's always gonna be, individuals and playing, but as long as you understand and you know that you gotta make, at the end of the day, you gotta make the course. You gotta strategize the way to stand above that. You're never gonna get to a place where there's no temptation. Like, there's always gonna be sin. So as long as you understand that and you come to that conclusion, and it's like you stop trying to look for the perfect and what they told you was right and wrong, and you come with your own understanding, then that's all you need. You don't need nobody else to guide you throughout something that you already got the map to. It's in here. It's in here. You know what I'm saying? All of that. You got guides to get through whatever the creator puts you through, but you choose not to use them. So that's why we fall on deep times, here and there. But that's going to be a part of nature. That's a part of the universe. But once you understand that, even throughout it all, I know how to keep myself. There's things that may be going on in front of me. Then that's when you really get to the higher self. And you know what I'm saying? Use those chakras to imitate something that you know is always going to be within you. And, you know, just keep focused. That's the main goal. Like, don't sit here and don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody just